In this chapter, this is the first chapter from the microeconomics. So, in this chapter, we have introduced the definition of scarcity, what are the economic problems, and the meaning of economics, and the difference between the positive and normative economics, and the difference between the micro and macroeconomics also. This and the three types of central problems of economy, and the definition of opportunity cost, PPF, and solve some practical problem at the last most. So first introduce what is mean by economics. So economics is every field of study has its own language and its own way of thinking. So in this, for example, the mathematics talking about the algebra, science deals with experiment, and account deal with profit and loss, and so on. The economics is no different. And economics language consists of terms like demand and supply, market, etc. In the coming chapter, you will come across many new terms and some familiar words that economists use in specialized way. So we have used what we have used in the economics. We have used economics and mathematics both in the statistical part, or in the micro, some part in micro and macro also. So from starting from the fact that what is mean by economics. So economics is an economy is a system. It is a system. An economy is a system which provide people the means to work and earn a living. So we have in the economy there are different type of the uh, things, activities are going on in the economy. There's an institution, organization, and can be collective called economy. So in the economy known as we live in an economy, Indian um, economy. So in the in it is an organization that provide living to the people, and it tasked to make use of available resources to produce these goods and services. So in this chapter we have in the last in the at the last we have make which questions are important for the board purposes. So vital process of economy, there are the three type of process in the economy. There were the production, consumption, and investment and capital formation. So why we study economy? Because the main reason of the study of economics can simplify to a single word: scarcity. So there's a number of resources are available. So the scarcity of resources, how to select, the economics is a concern with the solution of resources under the condition of scarcity. Whether we are going to the restaurant, there are a number of varieties resources are available, how it will be selected. So scarcity refers to the limitation of a supply in relation to the demand for a commodity. It refers to the situation when the wants exceed the available resources. As a result, it refers to a situation when the wants exceed the available resources. As a result, goods are not relatively available, and society does not have enough resources to satisfy all the wants of its people. Scarcity is universal. Every individual, organization, and economy faces scarcity of resources. Scarcity of resources call for economizing of resources. It's a very important word which you use in the board exam in the MCQs. Economizing of resources refers to make optimal use of available resources. So when the economization of any resources, we have optimal use of available resources. There no need of optimization, and we have to satisfy unlimited wants out of limited resources. So scarcity is not a problem. Limited resources is not our only problem. In addition to have us scarce resources, also have alternative uses. So when we say that there is a limited resources, there's not any problem. So when we say that so it includes the when the scarcity started, when we say that petrol is in demand. And one more problem we have with multiple choices. We have to choose between the one chosen, and then second ones are rejected. So it is a so scarcity is not only a problem. So there are the three type of economic problems are the economic problem is we know that the economic human wants are unlimited, but the means to satisfy them are limited. Therefore, all we want cannot be fulfilled. In order to maximum satisfaction, an economic problem is basically a problem of choice. How we choose between the number of problems. For example, if we have 100 rupees, so how effective we use the 100 rupees, if you given to the two boys, how the effective they're using. They use multiple if we they depend upon them, if they spend on multiple things and best useful things or not so useful things, it depends upon them. So so they satisfy of unlimited want out of limited resources. Limited resources, three main things are there: unlimited wants, uh, problem of choice, limited resources, and alternative uses. So when we say the 100 piece, the limited resources is 100 piece, and alternative uses. So if 100 rupees was spent on toffees and chips and other things, so unlimited wants, there a child have unlimited wants. He want a car and he wants some whole shop things. So there are unlimited wants. So problem of choice. If we go with the 100 rupees into a child go with the 100 rupees to the shop, so he had different choices to make. So there's a problem of choice. So the three main reasons existence of economic problems: scarcity of resources. There's scarcity of resources. How the resources are limited the in relation to the demand, and economy can't produce all that what the people want. Obviously, there's a limited land in the economy and limited resources, labors. So if the economy want the land would stretch to 1.5 meter, it is not possible. So it is a limited scarcity of resources. So scarcity is universal and applies to all individual, organization, and countries. Obviously there's a land of scarcity of land. So even a political leader who want to stretch land to 1.5 meter, it's not possible. It is a scarcity of resources. So unlimited human want are never ending. It is growing day by day. So wants of a people are unlimited, keep on multiplying and cannot satisfy due to the limited resources. So human wants are all different priorities. How the priority of of their wants. So due to the reason, the people allocate their resources, and the one for giving the allocate their resources means they're giving the first preference, second preference, third preference, what they prefer most. If all the human wants have been equally important, then it will be impossible to make. So there are different. Every person have a priority to spend. What is a if a child has 100 rupees, how the first priority to, if it is a ball or a toffee, or choice, it depend upon the a particular child. So alternative uses, resources not only scarce, but they have also to put in the various uses. It make the choices among the resources more important. So petroleum is not only for its vehicle but also running machines, and as economy has a make choice between alternate uses of given resources. So there are three main economic problems. That was very important for the board exam. So resources versus human wants. There's a features of resources, there's a scarce resources, there are alternative uses of resources, but human wants are unlimited. Apart from the resources, wants are unlimited and differ in the priorities. There's two different, it is not very modern, but so meaning of economics. Economics is a social science which study, it is a subject of a social science, so it is included. Economics is a social science which study the way of society choosing to use its limited resources, which have alternative uses, to produce goods and services, to distribute them among the different groups. So the main highlighted words in this definition, the already we have read about the what is meaning the economy. So the economy and economics are two different things. So in economics, there's a economic. The main highlighted words are social science. It is a social science subject. So economics is social science. So the way a society have chosen, how economics is the way the society have chosen to use its limited resources. So we have a plenty. When we talk about the Indian economy, there's plenty of labor are very land is very limited, and how they have alternative uses to them for produce goods and services and distribute them among the resources. So we have take example of Japan. Their limited land resources are very limited, and how they use their limited land limited resources and use it in effective manner to produce. They are not using the land. They use they have expertise on technology, so use their goods and services and distribute them. The technology was distributed among the different groups of people. So what is economy is all about? It's just making the choices in the presence of scarcity. So when we take an example of Japan, so there's scarcity of land. So how to make choices in the presence of scarcity? So though studies the human behavior as the relationship between the means and ends, economics aims to ensure that the resources are used in the best possible manner. So there are two type of economics: positive and normative. Positive economics study the fact of life, things as they are. Positive economics deals is what the economic problem and how are they actually solved. So for example, if the India economy is overpopulated and the prices are constantly high, and so what is and what will be any value judgment. These the statements are not past and future, but only what was in the past tense, and what is in the present, and what will be in the future. So positive and is a neutral between the ends. It remains strictly neutral with the respect to the ultimate ends. It avoids economic value judgment. Value judgment are not included, and only the what was, what is, and what will be. So, positive economics theory might describe that manufacture and sale of a secret is injurious to health, but it will provide any instruction or judgment on what the policy ought to be followed to avoid the. So, what we have making criteria for how to avoid secrets, but so So, according to Robbins, economics is not concerned with the moral or ethical questions. Economics should be analyzes things as they are and has no right to give judgment. So, as they are, but no right to have judgment. Do not confuse a positive as a truth, statement of truth. Statement of truth are different, and but economics is not about the false and truth and false. So, if the paras say that the India is the most populated country in the world, then Saksham said that China is most populated, but both are the positive statement. Yes, however, Paris is wrong and Saksham is right. So, both are the positive statement. If we say that the both are populated country, as far China is first and India is second, but both are positive statement. But truth is that that one is wrong and one is right, but both are positive. So normative is a what ought to be. What ought to be. Normative deal with the what ought to be and how the economic problem should be solved. India is overpopulated and the prices was right, and how to improve, what was the described things, and how should be realized, and what are the desired undesirable things and should be avoided. Decision was a value judgment in the. So economics is science, a positive, what is, what was, and what will be, and normative science, what ought to be, what should happen, and what should have happened. So meaning of a meaning, you have difference between that. You have read about that, how the economics problems are solved. Verification was actual data, and where it is in the normative there will not verify actual data in the purpose and the aims to real determining of our economic problem, and it aims to determine the ideals, what we happen, what should ought to be happen. It is based on the facts and thus not suggestive. It is facts. It's only facts, and it's based on the individual opinion and what is suggestive in nature. It does not give any value judgment. It is a neutral between ends, neutrals. So what is, what was, and what will be. Well, neutral between them. It is a value judgment, and what ought to be. It is not a value judgment. Positive is not value judgment. If examples, prices in the economy are constantly rises. There's an inequality of economy in a country, and inequality should be reduced. So value judgment should be reduced. It exists in the economy. It is a positive, and normative, it should be reduced. The prices of economy are rises. Yes, it's positive economy, but how to control the pricing price? It's a normative or value judgment. So difference between the micro and macro in the next topic, micro and macro. So microeconomics is a price theory, and macroeconomics in the Indian economy income theory. So price theory and income theory. So microeconomics, and is considered to be founder of the field of microeconomics. The term microeconomics had derived from the Greek word macros, which means small in for the individual manner, individual units, small and economic individual units behavior in economic actions, like particular country, particular consumer, a firm, or small groups. The concept of microeconomics is very important, as it supply the foundation of most of the understanding of the function of an economy. So microeconomics is that part of microeconomics we study the behavior of an individual unit. So individual unit, when we say the individual person, individual firms, and individual price, and these are so as we say that about tools, there are two tools: human demand and supply. So how the demand and supply affect for an individual. So macroeconomics is that part of the economic theory which study the behavior of aggregate. So the two words are make effective when the micro is said that in the individual, and the macro is an aggregate, the economy as a whole. So the term macro was derived from the Greek word macros, large. So the microeconomic deals with the overall performance of an economy. It concerned with the study of a problem of a economic, like inflation, unemployment, poverty, etc. Macroeconomics is that part of our economic problem. Economic theory will study the behavior of aggregate of economy as a whole. So the main tools are the same: aggregate demand, aggregate supply. So in the microeconomics, the letter I for individual, so an A for aggregate. So the difference between the both of them, the meaning, obviously, which deal with the behavior of individual, and which study the behavior of a aggregate of economy. Tools are demand and supply, and aggregate demand and supply. The basic objective, it's to determine the price, because price, you have already read about the price theory. It's a price, it's an income theory. So it aims to determine the price of the commodity or factor of production. There are four factor of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. So it aims to determine the income and employment level. So how the income and employment level in the economy is studied by the basic objective of a macroeconomics. So it involves the individual limited degree of aggregate. For example, market demand is derived from the aggregate individual demand of all the buyer in the in particular market. So it is a degree for limited degree and highest degree of aggregate and is a limited degree of aggregate, limited degree and highest degree. So basic assumptions, it is assumed so all the macroeconomics has to be constant. Assume the national income, consumption, savings are constant. These are all constant. So it is a macro variable because it's in the microeconomics macro variable will be constant, but in the macro economics micro variables are constant. It is a about the price theory and the income and employment theory. You have already read the microeconomics also known as price theory and macroeconomics also known as price, income and employment theory. And individual income examples: individual income, individual output, uh, individual price, and the macro national income and national income. Because